Hey, Matt Jackson.
Hey, what's up?
Well, you know what? We're working on a Beetle.
Oh yeah, Volkswagen, right?
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen. Kennedy doesn't want to start.
Yeah, Kennedy's a 63 Beetle that needs a starter, and we're gonna show you how to put in a starter today.
Yeah,
PW Life.
a couple of bus guys put in a Beetle starter, so this ought to be a bunch of clowns at a picnic or something. I don't know what we're gonna do
Hopefully
here.
we put it in right.
Yeah, I don't want to run backwards. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect the ground cable. Ask me how I know. One of those things. It's a good habit to get into. Man, I heard about somebody burned their bus down putting in an accelerator. This is a true story. They putting in an accelerator cable on a bus, okay? So you start from the front and they feed it, and they started feeding it to the back, and instead of going towards it curved in and went over and shorted out on the starter. So it went over to the starter, which is always got juice on it, because that's where this positive cable goes straight to that, and it shorted out and it burned their bus down. It's terrible.
Yeah, we're not gonna let that happen today.
No, because we just disconnected that.
Safety first.
One less thing.
All right, let's get this jacked up, and then we will pull out the old starter.
I like it when you jack stuff up, Matt Jackson.
Now we're under the belly of the beast, as they say.
Yeah. So we're gonna take off this heater. I call them heater mufflers. I don't know, because if you ever ran up your Volkswagen without these, you can hear your engine brrr. So I mean, not that you can in the first place, but
so if you've never been under here, it puts the heat from the motor, which is this little output right here.
Yeah.
It sends it to inside the vehicle right there.
Up the heater channels in a Beetle.
And what we want is way up in here.
So, Matt Jackson, we're gonna try something just for grins. Guess what I do not have on this?
A starter relay.
I don't have a hard I sell hard start relays, and I don't even have one on my own car.
I say we do it.
I think we should. That would
It would be
yeah.
easier than pulling this out.
Yeah, and that could very well be the case, because what happens is that's why I have those, because you have so much resistance in the wiring that in old wiring that this just bypasses that whole process. So this could be a sales ad and not even meant to be. There you go. Let me go get one. So Matt Jackson, the problem with the Kennedy is the old turn on the starter, go hit the ignition switch, and it just goes click, click. Usually a sign you're not getting enough juice to the starter. So what we did then, I just went underneath there and did the old hot wire thing where you just jump from the main stud coming off the back where your battery goes straight in to your solenoid and bypass that, and it fired right up. So that eliminates the issue that the battery's bad. So before we go ahead and go all the way through with seeing if the starter's bad, it's a lot of times, like I said earlier, that what we run into with these things is the wiring gets old. Because here's what happens. The energy goes all the way up to the ignition switch. Ignition switch, you flip that on, it goes all the way back. So we're dealing with 57-year-old wire. I haven't put a new harness in this car. So it builds up a lot of resistance. It may not be enough resistance. You get it click, click, but you're not getting a full throw on that solenoid to engage the starter. So I'm not a genius by any stretch of imagination, but I came up with, somebody was making these, and I said, well, they're selling these, and so this one's easy. So I just got me some relays and put this together, and I'm gonna have to use my own product. So yeah, it's real simple. This is like a switch out of some Scirocco's and stuff, which we got plenty of. So what happens is we're just gonna connect these wires, and we're gonna bypass all the most difficult thing is the ground. Is finding a place to ground it. So we're gonna have to find a good ground over there.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're seeing that the is that the lead wire?
Yeah.
The lead wire is in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been spliced so many times at this point. I believe there's at least 3 splices in there that we might have a lot of resistance from that.
Yeah, we got all kinds of weird stuff behind Matt Jackson.
Hey, Barry's here.
Yeah, it's about time.
And as Gary said earlier, we don't know what we're doing. We could have taken this wheel off and It would have been easier access.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Wow. I prefer working on my back.
All right, so it looks like you're gonna ground it to the bolt of the starter.
Yeah, we're gonna try that.
Okay, you can kind of see it's installed. You basically positive, negative, and then the terminal up to the well, it's ground and positive, and the terminal to the starter. So we're gonna give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Fire in the hole, man, Jackson. Fingers crossed. There you go.
It works.
Ta-da!
So the moral of this story is what?
Well, okay, so when you think you're having starter problems, again, we got the click and just barely a click. Tunk, tunk. That's more like a tunk, not even a click. Tunk. And so, okay, so what do you think? Okay, it's battery, right? Well, it wasn't battery. Because we verified the battery and then we checked the generator just to make sure it's putting out plenty. So it is. So the battery's good. And so, okay, could be the starter. But then so we went up there, you know how you have the main pole with your hot wire coming in and then your wire coming from your ignition switch. You just, I should tell people how to hot wire your Volkswagen, but all you gotta do is just cross those two and it'll start. And this fired up, no problem at all. So it eliminates that. That means the starter's working from that standpoint. So what happens is it's just old wire, 57 years old, wiring just gets resistance built in. So we're bypassing it going from battery to switch back to starter. Now it's just going from switch to starter. Tick, tick.
So you're saying this is basically a
Shortcut.
a shortcut, and it basically gives it more juice to start.
Yeah, that's it. Because you just, I don't know, but imagine a starter needs quite a lot of amperage.
Yeah, basically what you're doing is you're taking the entire line out of it, and then that line can be a weak power because you're using a relay, and then that is just, and then we're pulling off the power off the battery, which is a very short run, and we're getting full voltage to
Right
kick
through
over
there.
the
Yeah.
starter.
So instead of like, I mean, in a bus, it's even more of an issue. But in a Beetle, you're still, that's probably 8 feet, 16 feet of wires going back and forth. And now we're going through like 8 inches.
Yeah, many times it can be the key. The key could have some grime resistance built up when you're kicking it on. Mike's first 70 that he had the craziest conversation. When you kicked it on, right? When you turned the key on, it had power to the coil. When you turned the key to start the starter, it moved it over to the starter, but took the power away from the coil. So then the car would just go, and it would never fire up. And then you turn it off, and it would cough because it just gave it just gave it some power to the.
Yeah, just enough.
Yeah. So that was weird.
So what was the issue there? Was that was an ignition switch?
That was in the ignition
Yeah,
switch.
that was ignition switch.
This one actually, this car, we've found that it has a splice in the power line that comes back to it. That very well may be the break in it. So you could go back and chase all these gremlins, but this is always a great answer to being able to get direct power to the starter easily.
And I mean, I've seen them everywhere, and I just started making these kits and just sell them for fun at swap meets, and people buy them all the time. These are hard start relay kits, and I got them on Samba. So yeah, if you need to get one, I sell them on the Samba. Check it out. Look at the link below. I put them with extra wire, like so universal kit, so you can do some snipping and cutting if you need to. But man, I'll tell you, guarantee. I mean, look. Instead of going out and having to buy a new starter, we just bought one of these little guys, and we're good to go for tell how long. And the funny thing is, truly, I thought I had one on this car because I put them on everything, but I've never had issues with this car. But until the other night at Whataburger, when I had Tommy B with me.
Yeah, I'll put video here of you pushing it.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Exciting time.
Yeah, and it's loafers too, and it's suit.
Right,
Don't get your tie stuck in the generator.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed this quick little how-to video installing a hard start relay.
Yeah, hard start relay.
So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. Leave us a comment.
Yes, some people call them hot start relays because you see this sometimes when the car's hot too. Correct? I mean, the resistance builds up a little more in the starter.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. So a hot start, hard start, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
But thank you guys so much for today's little bit of a tech tip on VW Life.
All right, later guys.